In this bite, we asked Coach Raymond about the keto flu. So you might have heard some people talking about when they transition to carnivore that they get something called the keto flu. So, Coach Raymond, what is the keto flu?
The keto flu is very simple. When the body is transitioning, it starts changing its fuel source. So it's going from carb sugar burning to fat burning, and there's several levels of it. But it's almost like it. Think of a breaker switch. That's switching from the fuel, literally switching from like another source of energy, and that's what happens. So in the middle of that transition, you're not going to have any energy. So the power kind of blacks out, and then you turn on the other breaker so it can route to another path. Well, that's kind of this concept of how what's happening in your body. So there's literally a little dark moment. Is there ways to avoid it? That's really the question, and that's the trick about trying to find out how to not get the keto flu. What I've noticed about the keto flu, it happens to right about 60% of people, anywhere between 40 to 60% of people that I've coached. Some people, there is no preventing it for some unknown reason, and it's just going to happen. It is something that it is. Typically, keto flu can last from anywhere between 1 week of severe energy drop. Second week seems to get a little bit better. Third week's kind of the recovery, and the fourth week you should be fine. But the first week is a booger. I mean, I tell you, no energy. It's horrible, and I've seen it enough times to say that it's definitely a thing.
So you basically, when you have it, you just feel really low energy. And I mean, what do you is it? Does it really, literally feel like you have the flu? Like when you have the flu, you're just really,
You're
really like tired and malaise and that kind of thing.
Yes, so your body aches. You feel like there's like a house on you the whole time. You walk slow, you think slow, your mind is just foggy the whole time. You can't think clear, you can't sleep well, you can't stay awake well. You're just in this limbo stage. It's very hard to describe, but not a really good feeling at all. um and because you can't sleep, but you kind of have to lie in bed because you can't really move, you don't even have energy to think. So I mean, you're just kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's not a fun trip. So if you can avoid it, I definitely try to do tricks to avoid that. But the other thing is, if you have vacation time, this would be a good time to use it.
Interesting. So what should you do? Should you do what you normally do when you have the flu, like just lay in bed and drink water and that kind of thing?
So what people describe during the keto flu is they'll notice, like, someone will go to sugar during that time and try to get a little pep. And yeah, sure, they'll get a little pep and go right back to it. It's just got to go through its course. That's the biggest thing. Is there really once you get it, is there a way to get out of it? No. That's pretty much what I've seen. People have tried salt, people have tried, Epsom salt bath, magnesium. I mean, they'll feel better for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, and then go right back to the malaise. So it's just, I guess, a ring of fire, part of the trial.
Hmm. And when you have the keto flu, do you typically have diarrhea as well, or are you just no appetite, or what is it?
Yeah, no appetite. You don't want to eat anything, or very low appetite. You may be hungry, but you just don't want to eat. As far as diarrhea, I don't, that's not really related.
Mm.
Um, but bowel movements are typically not really around, but your stomach's kind of, upset most of the time. So that's why you don't feel like eating either.
Okay. But this should just be something that people expect that they may get, and then the main thing is to just keep going, right?
I
To put
tell majority of my people to expect it, since it happens to enough people. Now, when I say 60%, this is the percentage that I've noticed, not from my clients, but from online reading and stuff like that. With my clients, it's probably being a little bit less. So I don't know. Let's say 50-50. We don't know.
Okay. But then the thing is that's a little funny about it is I never had it, right? I didn't get the
Right.
keto flu. So it kind of seems like some people say they start and they're okay for a bit, right? They
Right.
feel better initially on carnivore.
Right.
Then they feel really terrible. And I think even in your story, you had that happen where you were going okay and then you got it. And
Yeah.
so why is there a delay, do you think?
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? So, typically I noticed that the keto carnivore flu is right around the third week. That's the beginning, and it can happen all the way up to the second month in, which that was my case. I was 2 months in, and I had my keto flu. But it can happen anywhere between that range, or maybe a little bit further on. I've not seen anybody get it after 3 months, but anything's possible. Um, well, you're right. Why is that? So why is it that it just made that kill switch around that time? And why such a hard kill switch? So I started researching a little bit, and I ran into Dr. Ben Bickman about this subject about glucagon resistance. Glucagon, so it's not just insulin resistance that's the issue. Glucagon. So glucagon seems to be a little more stubborn to actually switch, and we're talking about apparently a barrier that doesn't allow you to have a deep deep fat burning mode, I guess. And that's I guess that at a certain point that the body has realized that it has to use fat, but it realized that it needs more fat, and because it's not getting carbs by then. So by then, it just realized it's pretty much out of all of the glycogen sources. It's kind of like in a panic, frantic mode. And it's like, all right, we're just going to do a kill switch and then just go straight up fat burning only. I don't know. So even at the work of Dr. Ben Bickman, he didn't really offer a solution. He just said that it's probably, glucagon.
Well, that makes sense. Theoretically, it sounds like what could be definitely happening. So, well, thank you. That was a great bite. So we now know what the keto flu is and to just expect it potentially, and then that you just have to push through. So great.
It's better to know than not know, and better to expect it. That way, you know what you're getting into before you go into the carnivore diet. There is a potential that you may get hit with that and expect it.
Okay. Thank you, Coach Raymond. We'll see you
Thank
on
you,
the next
Janice.
bite.